Hey there, eager learner. Ever pictured yourself orchestrating the global dance of machinery and equipment?
We're talking moving those heavy hitters of industry. Colossal machinery, intricate equipment, even ships and aircraft.
Sounds complex, right?
It's a high-stakes world where nailing that interview is key.
Okay, let's unpack
And
this.
that's what we're diving into today. The world of import-export management.
Specifically for those massive industries dealing with all that heavy machinery. We've got your stack of RoleCatcher resources right here, career guides, interview prep, the works, ready to equip you to ace that interview.
And land your dream job in international trade.
The RoleCatcher Guide paints a picture of this career. It's fast-paced, globally focused, and demands a knack for detail. Think coordinating shipments, negotiating contracts, and becoming a master of international regulations.
What's fascinating here is it's not just about knowing the rules, it's about understanding how they apply in diverse contexts. Imagine a tiny paperwork error holding up $1 million shipment of aircraft parts.
Oof, I can't even imagine.
That's the kind of pressure that comes with this territory. And that's what interviewers are looking for, someone who thrives under pressure.
Speaking of pressure, let's dive into some real-deal interview questions from RoleCatcher's database. First up, can you describe your experience with international shipping regulations?
This is where you demonstrate you're not just familiar with the terms, but fluent in the language of international trade.
Okay, so how do we do that?
When they ask about regulations, slip in that you're fluent in Incoterms, shows you speak the language of the industry.
Oh, it's like having a secret code that says, I'm one of you.
Right.
But don't just name drop. Be ready with examples relevant to heavy machinery or aircraft. Maybe you've dealt with securing oversized cargo or navigating the legalities of air freighting specialized equipment.
RoleCatcher's AI can be incredibly helpful here.
Oh, how so?
It analyzes job descriptions to pinpoint the exact regulations you should highlight in your answers. That level of personalized prep can make all the difference.
It's like having a secret weapon to tailor your answers for maximum impact. Now imagine a follow-up question like, tell us about a time you encountered a challenge related to shipping regulations. How did you handle it?
That's where you showcase your ability to navigate those choppy waters. The STAR method is your friend here. Situation, task, action, result. Lay out the challenge clearly, describe your role and the actions you took, and wrap up by highlighting the positive outcome you achieved.
It's about showing you can handle the heat and come out on top.
Ah.
Speaking of handling the heat, let's move on to question 2, which is all about juggling multiple projects. How do you manage import and export logistics for multiple projects simultaneously?
This question probes your ability to orchestrate a symphony of moving parts, often across continents and time zones.
Well, that's a lot.
It's about demonstrating you can prioritize, meet deadlines, and keep those shipments flowing smoothly.
So what's a winning strategy here? Should you dive into the nitty-gritty of spreadsheets and project management software?
While those tools are essential, the key is to showcase your thought process. Start by highlighting your system for prioritizing tasks. Perhaps you use a priority matrix or a color-coded system. Then walk them through how you track deadlines. Maybe you're a fan of project management apps or prefer a good old-fashioned planner.
But the real magic happens when you bring in the human element, right? Because international trade relies heavily on communication and coordination.
Precisely. Emphasize how you maintain clear and consistent communication with all parties involved, suppliers, freight forwarders, internal teams, to ensure everyone's on the same page. You might share an anecdote about a time you proactively communicated a potential delay, preventing a costly bottleneck.
That's a great point. It's not just about managing deadlines, it's about managing expectations and building trust with everyone involved. All right, question 3. How do you negotiate pricing and logistics with suppliers and freight forwarders? Now, this is where those negotiation skills come in handy, right?
Absolutely. This question delves into your ability to secure the best possible deals for your company without compromising on quality or efficiency. It's a delicate dance of balancing cost-effectiveness with maintaining strong supplier relationships.
It sounds like it's about more than just driving a hard bargain.
It is. The key is to demonstrate that you understand the value of win-win situations.
I like the sound of that.
Highlight your ability to build rapport with suppliers and freight forwarders, emphasizing your collaborative approach to negotiation.
So what does that look like in a real negotiation? Give me an example.
Let's say you're negotiating a contract for shipping a massive piece of industrial equipment. Instead of just focusing on the price per container, you might explore offering a long-term contract with a guaranteed volume of shipments. This could incentivize the freight forwarder to offer a more competitive rate while also providing them with a sense of security and predictability. It's a win-win.
That's smart. But what would that sound like in the interview? How do you convey that kind of strategic thinking?
It's all about how you frame your experience. Instead of saying, I negotiated contracts, you'd say, I built strong relationships with key logistics providers, leading to mutually beneficial agreements that secured competitive rates and ensured timely delivery.
Okay.
RoleCatcher's AI can actually help you rephrase your experiences in a way that resonates with what employers are looking for.
Okay, I see what you mean. It's about highlighting the value you bring to the table, not just listing tasks. Now let's shift gears to question 4, which takes us to the legal side of things. How do you ensure compliance with import and export laws and regulations in different countries?
This one's all about showcasing your awareness of the complexities of international trade law and your commitment to upholding ethical and legal standards. Remember, global trade isn't just about moving goods, it's about navigating a web of regulations that vary significantly from one country to another.
It sounds like a recipe for potential headaches if you're not careful.
You could say that, but that's where your expertise shines. Highlight your meticulous approach to staying informed about import and export laws and regulations in different countries.
Okay, so how do you actually do that? Is it all about memorizing legal documents and staying glued to international news?
While staying informed is important, it's also about having systems in place. Mention that you rely on reputable sources of information, such as government websites, trade publications, and legal databases, to stay up to date on the latest regulations. You might even mention attending industry conferences or webinars to deepen your knowledge. And of course, RoleCatcher's AI can be an invaluable tool here, keeping you updated on any changes in regulations relevant to your target roles.
It sounds like it's about demonstrating a proactive approach to compliance. You're not just reacting to changes, you're anticipating them.
Precisely. You're conveying that you don't wait for issues to arise. You actively seek out information and implement measures to prevent them from happening in the first place.
Okay, so we've covered staying informed, but what about actually ensuring compliance within your operations?
That's where having robust internal controls comes into play. Highlight your experience in developing and implementing standard operating procedures, SOPs, that align with international trade regulations. You might mention that you conduct regular internal audits to verify compliance, address any gaps, and implement corrective actions as needed.
It's about building a culture of compliance within your operations. Now, for a potential follow-up question, can you share an instance where you had to navigate a complex regulatory change in a specific country?
This is another opportunity to utilize the STAR method: situation, task, action, result. Briefly describe the regulatory change, outline the challenge it presented, detail the steps you took to ensure compliance, and wrap up by highlighting the successful outcome of your actions.
It's about showcasing your ability to adapt to change, think on your feet, and find solutions that keep those shipments moving smoothly. All right, moving on to question 5. How do you ensure that shipments are delivered on time and in good condition? Now, this one seems like a no-brainer, right? I mean, who wouldn't prioritize timely and damage-free deliveries?
It does seem obvious, but remember, you're dealing with incredibly complex supply chains, often spanning multiple continents, modes of transport, and handling points.
Yeah, it's a long journey for some of these shipments.
Ensuring those shipments arrive on schedule and in pristine condition requires meticulous planning, constant communication, and a healthy dose of problem solving.
So how do you convey all that to the interviewer in a way that truly resonates?
Start by highlighting the importance of establishing clear communication channels with all parties involved in the shipping process, from the point of origin to the final destination. You're talking about building a network of reliable freight forwarders, customs brokers, and transportation providers, and actively nurturing those relationships.
So it's about surrounding yourself with a team of equally dedicated professionals.
Precisely. But it's not just about relying on others, it's about having your own systems in place to monitor those shipments every step of the way.
That's where technology comes into play, right?
Absolutely. Highlight your proficiency in using shipment tracking software, GPS systems, and other digital tools to monitor the progress of your shipments in real time. You're not just passively waiting for updates, you're actively seeking them out. And should any delays or issues arise, you're immediately alerted and can take swift action to mitigate any potential disruptions.
Talk about staying one step ahead. Now let's say the interviewer throws in a curveball. Can you describe a time a shipment was delayed or damaged? How did you handle it?
That's a classic behavioral question designed to assess your problem-solving skills under pressure. Remember the STAR method. Situation, task, action, result. Briefly describe the situation, outlining the cause of the delay or damage. Then clearly explain your role in resolving the issue, highlighting the specific actions you took to minimize the impact on the client or project.
It's about turning a potentially negative situation into an opportunity to showcase your quick thinking and problem-solving prowess.
Precisely. And don't forget to emphasize the positive outcome. Perhaps you managed to expedite the shipment, negotiated a discount for the client, or implemented a new tracking system to prevent similar incidents in the future.
Okay, let's dive into question 6, which takes us into the realm of risk management. How do you manage the risks associated with international trade, such as currency fluctuations and political instability? Now, those are some heavy hitters in the world of global commerce.
Absolutely. These are factors that are often beyond your control, yet they can significantly impact your bottom line if not managed effectively. This question tests your ability to think strategically, anticipate challenges, and implement proactive measures to safeguard your company's interests.
It sounds like it's all about having a plan B, and maybe even a plan C.
You could say that. When it comes to currency fluctuations, highlight your understanding of hedging strategies, forward contracts, and other financial instruments that can help mitigate the impact of volatile exchange rates. You might even mention that you work closely with your finance department or financial advisors to stay abreast of market trends and adjust your strategies accordingly.
It's about demonstrating that you're not just an import-export expert, but also financially savvy. Now let's talk about political instability. That feels like a whole different beast to tackle.
You're not wrong. Political landscapes can shift quickly, and those shifts can disrupt supply chains, impact trade agreements, and create a whole host of unforeseen challenges.
So how do you even begin to prepare for that level of uncertainty?
It's all about due diligence and diversification. Highlight that you conduct thorough research on the political climate of your trading partners, assess potential risks, and implement contingency plans to address potential disruptions.
So for instance, if you're heavily reliant on a single supplier in a politically volatile region, you might explore alternative sourcing options just in case.
Exactly. Or you might consider adjusting your shipping routes or warehousing strategies to minimize potential disruptions. The key is to demonstrate that you're not just reacting to events, but proactively anticipating and mitigating potential risks.
Okay, now for a potential follow-up question. Can you share an example of a time you had to navigate a challenging situation related to currency fluctuations or political instability?
Again, this is a prime opportunity to utilize the STAR method: situation, task, action, result. Briefly describe the situation, outlining the specific challenge you faced. Then clearly define your role in addressing the situation, highlighting the actions you took to minimize the impact on your company. And don't forget to conclude by emphasizing the positive outcome of your actions. Perhaps you managed to renegotiate a contract, secure an alternative supplier, or implement a risk management strategy that saved your company money.
It's all about turning those challenging moments into opportunities to shine a spotlight on your problem-solving skills and your ability to navigate the ever-evolving landscape of global trade. Speaking of evolving landscapes, let's move on to question 7, which delves into the critical world of documentation. How do you ensure that import and export documentation is accurate and complete? Now, in a world of digital spreadsheets and online forms, it seems like this should be a piece of cake, right?
You'd think so, wouldn't you? But remember, you're often dealing with a mountain of paperwork, from commercial invoices and packing lists to certificates of origin and bills of lading. And that's not even mentioning the specialized documents required for specific industries like the aerospace or maritime sectors.
So it's not just about filling out forms online. It's about understanding the nuances of each document and its significance in the grand scheme of international trade.
Precisely. A single error or omission in documentation can lead to delays, fines, and even legal repercussions.
Yikes. Okay, so no pressure there.
To impress the interviewer, highlight your meticulous approach to documentation. Explain that you have a system for organizing and verifying all required documents, ensuring each one is accurate, complete, and submitted on time. You might even mention that you utilize digital tools such as document management systems or optical character recognition, OCR software, to streamline the process and minimize the risk of human error.
It's about showcasing your ability to blend traditional attention to detail with modern technology to create a robust system for document management. Now, let's say the interviewer wants to dig a little deeper and asks, can you describe a time you discovered an error in import-export documentation? How did you handle it?
Another opportunity to showcase your problem-solving skills in action. Remember the STAR method. Situation, task, action, result. Briefly describe the situation, outlining the nature of the error and its potential impact. Then clearly explain the steps you took to rectify the error, emphasizing your proactive approach and attention to detail. And of course, don't forget to conclude by highlighting the positive outcome. Perhaps you managed to correct the error before it caused any delays or penalties. Or maybe you implemented a new procedure to prevent similar errors from occurring in the future.
Okay, so we've covered staying informed about regulations, managing risks, and ensuring accurate documentation. But let's not forget about the actual movement of goods. Question 8 takes us right into the heart of the logistics operation. How do you manage the import and export of hazardous materials? Now, we're talking about a whole other level of complexity and responsibility, right?
Absolutely. Transporting hazardous materials across international borders requires a deep understanding of specialized regulations, strict adherence to safety protocols, and an unwavering commitment to environmental responsibility.
One wrong move could have serious consequences.
You've got that right. When answering this question, it's crucial to convey that you understand the gravity of handling hazardous materials and that you prioritize safety and compliance above all else.
Okay, so where do you even begin?
Start by highlighting your familiarity with the relevant international regulations governing the transport of dangerous goods, such as the International Maritime Dangerous Goods, IMDG, Code for Sea Transport, or the International Air Transport Association, IATA, Dangerous Goods Regulations for Air Transport.
So you're demonstrating your knowledge of the rulebook before you even get behind the wheel, so to speak.
Precisely. But it's not just about knowing the rules, it's about having practical experience in implementing them. Mention that you've received specialized training in handling hazardous materials, that you're familiar with the proper labeling, packaging, and documentation requirements, and that you prioritize working with carriers and logistics providers who share your commitment to safety and compliance. And of course, RoleCatcher can be a great resource here. You can use their AI-powered tools to identify companies known for their commitment to safety and compliance.
That's a great tip. So it's not just about what you know, it's about aligning yourself with companies that share your values.
Exactly. And it's also about having contingency plans in place to address potential incidents or emergencies. Highlight your ability to conduct risk assessments, develop emergency response protocols, and maintain open lines of communication with all relevant authorities and stakeholders.
So you're not just planning for the best case scenario, but you're also prepared for the unexpected.
Absolutely. When it comes to transporting hazardous materials, it's all about minimizing risks and maximizing safety.
Now, let's say the interviewer wants to dig a little deeper and asks, can you describe a time you faced a challenge related to the import or export of hazardous materials? How did you handle it?
This is another opportunity to showcase your problem-solving skills under pressure using the STAR method. Situation, task, action, result. Briefly describe the situation, outlining the specific challenge you encountered. Maybe there was a change in regulations, a logistical hiccup, or an unexpected delay. Then, clearly explain your role in resolving the issue, highlighting the specific actions you took to ensure safety, compliance, and minimal disruption.
It's about turning a potentially stressful situation into a moment to demonstrate your calm demeanor, your ability to think on your feet, and your unwavering commitment to safety and compliance.
Exactly. And don't forget to wrap up your response by highlighting the positive outcome. Perhaps you managed to find an alternative shipping solution, negotiated a new agreement with a compliant carrier, or implemented a new safety protocol that prevented similar incidents from occurring in the future.
All right, on to question 9, which takes us back to the negotiating table. Can you describe your experience negotiating contracts with suppliers and freight forwarders? This feels like familiar territory, but I imagine the stakes are even higher when dealing with massive machinery or sensitive equipment.
You're spot on. Negotiating contracts in this industry requires a keen understanding of not just the legal and financial aspects, but also the technical specifications and logistical complexities of the goods being transported.
So it's not just about haggling over price, it's about crafting agreements that protect your company's interests while ensuring the safe and timely delivery of often irreplaceable equipment.
Precisely. When answering this question, highlight your ability to analyze contractual language, identify potential risks or loopholes, and negotiate favorable terms that align with your company's needs. Don't be afraid to get specific about the types of contracts you've negotiated in the past. Perhaps you've handled bills of lading, letters of credit, or international commercial terms, Incoterms, agreements.
It's all about showcasing your familiarity with the language and practices of international trade contracts.
And don't forget to emphasize the importance of building strong relationships with your suppliers and freight forwarders. Negotiation should be seen as a collaborative process, not a battle of wills. It's about finding win-win solutions that benefit both parties involved.
Now imagine a follow-up question. Can you share an instance where you successfully negotiated a complex contract that benefited both your company and the supplier or freight forwarder?
Another opportunity to shine using the STAR method. Briefly describe the situation, highlighting the complexity of the contract negotiation. Maybe it involved specialized equipment, a challenging timeline, or unique regulatory hurdles. Then, clearly explain your role in the negotiation process, emphasizing your communication skills, your ability to build rapport, and your knack for finding creative solutions. And of course, don't forget to end your response by highlighting the positive outcome. Perhaps you secured a favorable price, negotiated a mutually beneficial payment schedule, or established a long-term partnership that saved your company money and fostered a strong working relationship.
It's all about showcasing your ability to turn those high-stakes negotiations into opportunities to demonstrate your diplomacy, your business acumen, and your unwavering commitment to achieving the best possible outcomes for everyone involved. Now let's move on to question 10, which focuses on your commitment to staying ahead of the curve. How do you stay up to date on industry trends and changes in regulations? In a field as dynamic as import-export management, complacency is not an option, is it?
It's like trying to navigate a constantly shifting maze. This question tests your commitment to continuous learning and your ability to adapt to the ever-evolving landscape of international trade.
So how do you convince the interviewer that you're not just keeping up, but you're striving to stay one step ahead?
Highlight your proactive approach to professional development. Mention that you subscribe to industry publications, attend relevant conferences and webinars, and actively engage in online forums or professional organizations. You might even mention specific publications, organizations, or thought leaders that you follow. And don't be afraid to get granular. Perhaps you recently attended a webinar on the latest changes to Incoterms, or read an article about the impact of blockchain technology on supply chain management.
It's all about showcasing your genuine interest in your field and your commitment to staying at the forefront of innovation.
Precisely. And don't forget to emphasize how you apply that knowledge to your work. Perhaps you recently implemented a new tracking system based on an industry best practice you learned about or renegotiated a contract to take advantage of a change in trade regulations.
It's about connecting the dots between your thirst for knowledge and your ability to translate that knowledge into tangible results. Now, let's say the interviewer wants to test your ability to think critically and asks, what do you see as the biggest challenges facing the import-export industry in the coming years, and how do you plan to address them?
This question requires you to step back from the day-to-day tasks and demonstrate your understanding of the broader industry landscape. Take a moment to consider the key trends shaping the future of international trade, things like geopolitical instability, the rise of e-commerce, the increasing complexity of supply chains, and the growing importance of sustainability.
So it's about painting a picture of the challenges, but also offering potential solutions.
Precisely. Once you've outlined the challenges, highlight how you plan to address them. Perhaps you're passionate about implementing sustainable sourcing practices, leveraging technology to streamline logistics, or developing new risk management strategies to navigate geopolitical uncertainty.
It's about showcasing your proactive mindset and your ability to adapt to the ever-changing demands of the import-export industry.
Absolutely. And remember, this is also an opportunity to express your genuine interest in the future of the industry and your enthusiasm for tackling those challenges head-on.
All right, let's switch gears for a moment and talk about how RoleCatcher's AI can be your secret weapon throughout this entire interview process. We've touched on it a bit, but I'm eager to delve deeper into how this technology can truly give you a competitive edge.
I'm with you. RoleCatcher's AI isn't just a buzzword, it's a game changer for job seekers looking to stand out from the competition.
Okay, so let's break it down. How can RoleCatcher's AI help me tailor my CV and cover letter to make a lasting impression?
Imagine this. You've found your dream import-export management role, but you're staring at a blank page, unsure how to make your CV stand out from the hundreds of others vying for the same position.
Been there.
That's where RoleCatcher's AI swoops in to save the day.
Like a superhero.
RoleCatcher's AI analyzes the specific keywords and skills emphasized in the job description, and then suggests the ways to optimize your CV to align perfectly with those requirements.
Oh, that's really smart.
By using relevant keywords, highlighting your accomplishments, using quantifiable metrics, and structuring your CV in a way that's easily digestible for both humans and machines, RoleCatcher's AI helps increase your chances of making it through those initial screening stages.
That's incredible. But what about the cover letter?
Yeah.
It's still a crucial part of the application process, right?
Absolutely. And RoleCatcher's AI can lend a helping hand there too. It can help you craft a compelling narrative that connects your skills and experiences to the specific requirements of the job. RoleCatcher's AI can even suggest different writing styles or tones based on the company culture or the specific industry.
Talk about taking personalization to the next level. Okay, so let's talk about interview practice. We've gone through some tough questions today, but is there a way to practice and refine my answers even further using RoleCatcher's AI?
Absolutely. RoleCatcher offers an AI-powered interview practice feature that allows you to record your responses to common interview questions, like the ones we've discussed today.
Hmm.
The AI analyzes your responses, providing you with feedback on your pacing, tone, clarity, and content. It can even detect subtle cues like filler words or nervous gestures.
Wow, it's like having a personal interview coach in your pocket.
Exactly. And the best part is that you can practice as many times as you need until you feel confident and prepared to ace that interview.
That's incredible. So RoleCatcher's AI isn't just about streamlining the job search process. It's about providing personalized support and guidance every step of the way.
Precisely. It's about empowering you to put your best foot forward, showcase your skills and experiences in the most compelling way possible, and ultimately land that dream job in the exciting world of import-export management.
Well said. Now, before we wrap up this part of our deep dive into the world of import-export management, let's take a moment to explore some of the key skills and attributes that are essential for success in this demanding yet rewarding field.
Sounds good to me. While we've touched on a few already, it's worth emphasizing that excelling in this industry requires a unique blend of hard and soft skills.
Okay, so let's start with the hard skills. What are some of the technical proficiencies that are non-negotiable in this field?
A strong foundation in international trade law and regulations is absolutely essential. You need to be comfortable navigating the complexities of import-export documentation, customs procedures, and international commercial terms, Incoterms.
So it's not just about moving goods, it's about understanding the legal and regulatory frameworks that govern those movements.
Exactly. You also need to be proficient in logistics and supply chain management. This includes understanding different modes of transport, optimizing shipping routes, managing inventory, and ensuring the timely and cost-effective delivery of goods. It's about being able to see the big picture, the entire journey of a product, from its point of origin to its final destination, while also managing the intricate details of each stage along the way.
You've got it. And let's not forget about technology. In today's digital age, it's crucial to be comfortable using a variety of software and platforms to manage shipments, track inventory, communicate with suppliers, and analyze data.
Exactly. And let's not forget about the importance of data analysis. The ability to collect, interpret, and leverage data to make informed decisions is becoming increasingly critical in the import-export industry. It's not just about moving goods, it's about understanding the story those movements tell and using that data to optimize your operations.
You've got it. Now let's shift gears for a moment and talk about the equally important soft skills. These are the interpersonal skills and personal attributes that are often harder to quantify, but are just as crucial for success in this people-oriented field.
Communication is absolutely paramount. You need to be able to communicate clearly and effectively with a wide range of stakeholders, from suppliers and customers to freight forwarders, customs officials, and internal teams.
And those stakeholders might be located all over the world, speaking different languages and operating within different cultural contexts.
You've got that right. So strong cross-cultural communication skills are essential. You need to be sensitive to cultural nuances, adapt your communication style accordingly, and build rapport with people from diverse backgrounds.
It's about being a global citizen, someone who is comfortable navigating the complexities of intercultural communication and building bridges across borders.
Well said. Negotiation is another critical soft skill. You need to be able to negotiate favorable contracts, resolve disputes, and find mutually beneficial solutions in a way that preserves relationships and fosters trust.
It's about finding that sweet spot, The win-win solution that leaves everyone feeling satisfied and ready to do business together again in the future.
You've got it. And let's not forget about problem solving. In the world of import-export management, unexpected challenges are par for the course. Delays happen, regulations change, markets fluctuate. It's all part of the game. And those who excel in this field are those who can roll with the punches, adapt to changing circumstances, and bounce back from setbacks stronger than ever. They're problem solvers at their core, always ready to find a workaround, negotiate a new solution, or chart a new course when the going gets tough.
Exactly. And finally, let's not underestimate the importance of attention to detail. In this industry, precision is paramount.
You're telling me one misplaced digit, one overlooked regulation, one missed deadline, and the consequences can be significant. So you need to be meticulous in your work, double-checking your calculations, verifying your documentation, and paying close attention to the finer points of every transaction.
It's about developing an eagle eye for detail. That ability to spot errors, anticipate potential problems, and ensure that everything is in its right place.
Absolutely. And remember, while these hard and soft skills are essential for success in the import-export industry, they're also highly transferable. So even if your career path takes you in a different direction, these skills will serve you well in any field that requires critical thinking, problem-solving, communication, and a global mindset.
Well said. That wraps up part one of our deep dive into the world of import-export management. We've covered a lot of ground, from tackling those tricky interview questions to uncovering the essential skills and attributes that set successful candidates apart. But hold on tight, because in part two, we're diving even deeper into RoleCatcher's career guides to uncover valuable insights about navigating the different stages of this exciting career path, exploring potential advancement opportunities, and discovering the key strategies for climbing that corporate ladder. We're back, diving deeper into the world of import-export management.
Ready to navigate those career waters.
We've talked about acing those interviews, but now let's explore the career path itself.
That's right. It's one thing to land the job, but it's another to thrive and grow in this field. Luckily, RoleCatcher provides some great insights into that journey.
So let's say I'm just starting out, eager to break into this industry. What's the typical entry point according to RoleCatcher?
Think import-export coordinator. It's like boot camp for international trade.
Boot camp. Intense. So what does that look like day to day?
Fast-paced, demanding, but an incredible learning experience.
Okay, boot camp it is. What kind of tasks and responsibilities would I be tackling at this level?
Imagine yourself as the guardian of those all-important shipping documents. The commercial invoices, packing lists, certificates of origin. Your mission is to ensure accuracy down to the last detail.
Wow,
Because one tiny error could have ripple effects across continents.
Wow, talk about pressure.
Yeah.
It's not just about moving boxes. It's about making sure those boxes have the right paperwork to cross international borders without a hitch.
Precisely. You're the linchpin ensuring compliance with the complex web of regulations. Think of it this way. You're the one who keeps those million-dollar shipments moving smoothly.
Wow, no pressure. So what are some must-have skills for an aspiring coordinator?
Attention to detail is paramount. Imagine a missing signature on a bill of lading holding up a shipment of aircraft parts worth millions.
Oh my God.
That's the kind of situation you'll be preventing.
That's the kind of story that makes you the office hero when you save the day. What about communication? I imagine that's crucial when you're coordinating with suppliers, freight forwarders, and everyone in between.
You're spot on. As a coordinator, you're the central hub of communication, ensuring everyone is on the same page, and potential delays are addressed proactively. You're not just managing paperwork, you're managing expectations.
So it's about being a master of logistics, a communication guru, and a compliance whiz, all while staying cool under pressure. Sounds like a recipe for career growth to me.
You got it. Speaking of growth, RoleCatcher highlights a natural progression from coordinator to the role of import-export specialist.
Okay, I've paid my dues, mastered the basics, now it's time to level up. What new challenges and responsibilities await at this stage?
Think of it as transitioning from the tactical to the strategic.
Cool, I like that.
As a specialist, you're not just executing tasks, you're developing solutions.
So less about checking boxes and more about thinking outside the box.
Exactly. You might be tasked with finding ways to optimize shipping routes to reduce costs, negotiating better rates with suppliers, or even exploring new markets for your company's products.
Now we're talking. It sounds like this role requires a deeper understanding of global markets, industry trends, and maybe even a little bit of forecasting.
Absolutely. You're not just managing shipments, you're managing risks.
Uh-oh, like what?
Navigating the ever-changing landscape of international trade, From currency fluctuations to geopolitical instability.
It sounds like having a solid understanding of international business is key.
You're absolutely right. RoleCatcher emphasizes the importance of a strong foundation in international trade finance, logistics, and supply chain management at this level.
And of course, those all-important soft skills, communication, negotiation, diplomacy, are still crucial, right?
More than ever. As a specialist, you're building and nurturing relationships with international partners, suppliers, and service providers. You're representing your company on a global stage.
Okay, I'm ready for the next challenge. What's the pinnacle of this career path, according to RoleCatcher?
The import-export manager, of course.
The dream.
This is where you ascend to the role of conductor, leading the symphony of your company's global trade operations.
Music to my ears. But seriously, what does this level of responsibility entail?
Imagine setting the strategic direction for your company's import-export activities. You're responsible for developing and implementing strategies that optimize supply chain efficiency, minimize costs, and maximize profitability.
So you're not just leading a team, you're leading the charge for global expansion and growth.
Exactly. You're identifying new market opportunities, analyzing global trends, and making strategic decisions that impact the entire company.
It sounds like a role that demands a rare combination of business acumen, global awareness, and exceptional leadership skills.
You've hit the nail on the head. RoleCatcher highlights that successful import-export managers often have a proven track record of success in international trade, demonstrating not just their knowledge, but their ability to navigate complex situations and drive results.
So it's about having that big picture vision, the ability to inspire a team, and the tenacity to turn challenges into opportunities.
Precisely. It's about being a leader, a mentor, a strategic thinker, and a passionate advocate for your company's success on the global stage.
This journey from coordinator to manager sounds incredible, but I imagine it's not for the faint of heart. What does it take to succeed?
You're right. It's a demanding path, but incredibly rewarding for those who thrive in a fast-paced, constantly evolving environment.
So what's the key to not just surviving, but thriving on this journey?
Never stop learning. The world of import-export management is constantly changing, so a commitment to continuous learning is essential.
Right. How do you keep up with everything?
That's where RoleCatcher comes in handy again.
Oh, tell me more. We've talked about how RoleCatcher can help me ace those interviews, but how can it be a valuable resource once I've landed the job? Like when I'm knee-deep in the world of international trade.
RoleCatcher offers a wealth of resources for professionals at all stages of their careers. Think of it as your one-stop shop for staying updated on industry trends, accessing expert insights, and even connecting with other professionals in the field.
That sounds like a game changer, especially in such a fast-paced industry where things are constantly evolving. What kind of specific resources can I find on RoleCatcher?
They have a fantastic library of articles, webinars, and case studies covering everything from the latest changes in trade regulations to best practices for supply chain optimization.
So whether I'm struggling to interpret a new trade agreement or looking for ways to streamline our logistics operations, RoleCatcher has got me covered.
Precisely. And it's not just about accessing information, it's about connecting with a community of like-minded professionals. RoleCatcher has a vibrant online community where you can network with peers, ask questions, share insights, and even find mentors.
That's incredible. It's like having a support system and a knowledge base all rolled into one.
Exactly. RoleCatcher understands that navigating the world of import-export management can be challenging, so they've created a platform that provides the resources, connections, and support you need to succeed.
This has been incredibly insightful. But before we move on, I'm curious. Beyond those hard skills and technical expertise, what are some of those intangible qualities that really make someone stand out in this field?
That's a great question. While having the right skills and experience is crucial, those intangible qualities are often what separate the exceptional from the ordinary.
Okay, spill the tea. What are these secret ingredients for import-export success?
One that immediately comes to mind is a genuine passion for global commerce. It's that spark in your eye when you talk about connecting people and products across borders, that drive to navigate the complexities of international trade and contribute to a more interconnected world.
I love that. It's about seeing beyond the spreadsheets and regulations and recognizing the bigger picture of global trade.
Exactly. It's about being fascinated by different cultures, eager to learn new languages, and always up for the challenge of bridging cultural divides.
It sounds like having a global mindset is essential.
Absolutely. And with that global mindset comes an insatiable thirst for knowledge. The best in the business are never content with the status quo. They're always reading, researching, attending conferences, soaking up knowledge like a sponge.
They're the ones with their finger on the pulse of the industry, always one step ahead of the latest trends and changes.
Precisely. And that brings me to another crucial quality: resilience. The world of import-export management is not for the faint of heart. It's a roller coaster ride of unexpected challenges, last-minute changes, and unforeseen obstacles.
So you're saying I need to be able to handle the heat, think on my feet, and bounce back from setbacks stronger than ever.
Exactly. You'll encounter delays, navigate regulatory hurdles, and face unexpected disruptions. Those who thrive in this field are the ones who can adapt, overcome, and emerge even stronger from those experiences.
It sounds like problem solving is key.
Absolutely. And finally, let's not forget about integrity. In the world of international trade, where transactions often span continents and involve multiple stakeholders, trust is paramount.
It's about building a reputation for honesty, transparency, and ethical business practices.
Precisely. Those who operate with integrity earn the respect of their colleagues, clients, and competitors alike, which is invaluable in this industry.
So, to sum it up, passion, a global mindset, resilience, and integrity are the X factors that can truly elevate your career in this field.
Well said. And as we wrap up part 2 of our deep dive, I encourage all our listeners to reflect on these qualities and consider how they can cultivate and nurture them within themselves. Because whether you're just starting out in your career or you're a seasoned professional, these are the qualities that will not only help you succeed in the import-export industry, but in any field that values global citizenship, ethical leadership, and a passion for making connections across borders.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We've explored the exciting career path of an import-export manager, from the nitty-gritty of being a coordinator to the strategic vision of a seasoned manager. But let's get down to brass tacks. How do you actually land those roles?
That's what we're tackling now. We've got those RoleCatcher resources to guide us through nailing the interview, and we'll tailor our approach based on where you are in your career journey.
Love it. So let's start with those aspiring import-export coordinators out there eager to break into this world. What kind of questions should they be prepared for?
At this level, interviewers want to see that you're detail-oriented, eager to learn, and have a solid grasp of the fundamentals.
Okay, makes sense.
Think about questions that target your understanding of import-export documentation, basic compliance procedures, and your ability to follow instructions with precision.
So less about grand strategy and more about proving you can handle the nuts and bolts.
Exactly. You might get asked something like, describe your experience with preparing shipping documents, like commercial invoices or packing lists.
Okay, pretty straightforward.
This is your chance to shine. Don't just list the documents, explain their importance. Mention the key fields, the consequences of errors, and any software you've used to streamline the process.
It's about showing you understand the why behind the what. What about questions related to compliance at this stage?
Imagine being asked, what steps would you take to ensure a shipment complies with customs regulations for, say, shipping heavy machinery to Germany? Here, you showcase your research skills.
So I did my homework.
Mention resources like government websites, trade databases, or even RoleCatcher's AI-powered tools, which can provide up-to-date information on specific country regulations. Emphasize your meticulous approach to verification and your commitment to staying updated on changes.
It's like saying, I don't just follow the rules, I make sure I'm following the most current version of the rules.
Yeah.
Okay, so we aced the coordinator interview. Let's say I've gained some experience. I'm an import-export specialist now. How do the questions change?
Now, the interviewers want to see you apply that knowledge in real-world scenarios.
Show me what you got.
Be ready to showcase your problem-solving skills, strategic thinking, and your ability to manage more complex situations.
So less, here's what the rulebook says, and more, here's how I navigated a crisis using the rulebook.
Precisely. A common question at this level is, describe a time you had to resolve a shipment delay. What steps did you take and what was the outcome?
Ooh, good one.
This is where you break out the STAR method: situation, task, action, result, to structure your answer in a clear, compelling way.
It's about proving you can handle those inevitable curveballs that come with the territory. What about questions related to negotiation or strategy?
Be prepared for something like, how would you approach negotiating a contract with a new supplier for a shipment of aircraft parts? Or what factors would you consider when developing an import-export strategy for a new product line? Especially one dealing with, like, hazardous materials, right? These questions assess your ability to think strategically, analyze market dynamics, and find win-win solutions.
So it's about showing you're not just a taskmaster, you're a strategist. Now let's step into the big leagues. We're going for the gold import-export manager. What kind of questions separate the leaders from the pack at this level?
Here, it's all about demonstrating your leadership qualities, your strategic vision, and your proven track record of driving results on a global scale.
Okay, I'm ready to step into that leadership role. Hit me with a question that screams, I'm the manager you've been looking for.
Imagine this. Tell us about a time you led your team through a major challenge. Maybe a sudden regulatory change that impacted a major shipment, or a supply chain disruption due to political unrest. How did you handle it? And what was the outcome?
That's a tough one. It's not just about solving the problem, it's about how you lead your team through the fire.
Exactly. Interviewers want to see your leadership style, your communication skills, your ability to make tough decisions under pressure, and your track record of success.
What about questions related to long-term strategy or risk management? Those seem crucial for a leadership role.
You're right on the mark. Expect questions like, how would you develop a long-term import-export strategy for a company, taking into account evolving trade agreements, geopolitical risks, and the growing focus on sustainability? Or, how do you ensure your team stays informed about regulatory changes and is prepared to adapt to those changes in a proactive way?
Okay, these are some high-level questions. It's not just about knowing the industry, it's about shaping its future. Any final tips for tackling these interview beasts?
Remember, it's not enough to just answer the question. You need to showcase your value. Quantify your accomplishments whenever possible. Did you streamline a process, reduce costs, expand into a new market? These are the stories that will make you stand out from the crowd. And don't forget, RoleCatcher can be your secret weapon throughout this whole process.
Right, use their tools.
Use their AI-powered tools to tailor your CV and cover letter, practice your interview answers, and even research potential employers to find the perfect fit for your skills and experience.
That's right. RoleCatcher isn't just about finding a job. It's about finding the right job for you and then giving you the tools to land it. Well, that brings us to the end of our deep dive into the world of import-export management. We've navigated the career path, explored essential skills, and tackled those interview questions head-on.
We hope you're feeling prepared, informed, and maybe even a little bit inspired to embark on this exciting journey.
And remember, the world of international trade is always evolving. So never stop learning, never stop exploring, and never stop connecting the world one shipment at a time. Until next time, keep those curiosity gears turning.